Pay attention to what your pastors have to tell you. Be submissive. Now we mess up the word submissive also. The word submissive simply means to subject your will to that of another. Very simple. Peter tells us that the characteristic of a pastor is supposed to be one who leads, not one who pushes. Peter tells us that a pastor is supposed to lead by example. It would be very difficult for me to teach you and lead you where your family is concerned if my family was a mess. I'm supposed to be an example to you. Well, one of the things people think, well, you shouldn't be a boss over us. It doesn't say boss. It says a lead. This word leader here, when it says rule over you, it doesn't mean to rule like with an iron fist. It's talking about leader. Obey those who lead you. And I want you to notice what the responsibility the leader has. For they watch out for your souls as those who must give account. According to this verse of Scripture, I have to give an account for how I lead you. Right? Isn't that what that says? I can't just do what I want to do. Well, who are you accountable to? God. I have to give an account for the way that I lead you. I have to give an account for what I teach you. I do not want to be standing before Jesus and Him ask me, why didn't you teach my people on healing? Why were so many people in your church sick and so many people died in your church? Well, Lord, I thought healing had passed away. I thought that was just for the early church. See, standing before Jesus, that'll never come out of your mouth. Some of the things that we think today, yes, I'm going to go ahead and get on a soapbox here. Some of the things that we think today that are so politically correct, when those people are standing before God and they're looking into the eyes of Jesus, all of these silly justifications and reasons for doing things, when they look in His eyes, it'll never come out of their mouth. Because they will realize how foolish they are. They think they're so progressive. They think they're so, the Bible is just so old and archaic. Okay, let's say for a moment that it is. The Bible is old. But it's not outdated. But let's just for a moment assume that it is. Do you know what difference that makes? None. Do you know why? Because that's what it is that's going to be used to judge. Somebody's political correctness, I'm trying to be nice here. Somebody's political correctness, their wokeness, if you will, is not the standard that's going to be used for judgment. It's not the standard that's being used now. They've just deceived themselves into thinking it is. It's not now. And I've shared with you before, it is not hard to be accurate. I'm always going to side with God. If He says something is an abomination, guess what? To me, it's an abomination. It don't matter. Listen, you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. Right? Wouldn't want to date it. still a pig, still ugly, still nasty. You can call all this stuff whatever you want to. What does God look at it? He says, that's an abomination. As a matter of fact, it's such an abomination, I destroyed a whole city because of it. I mean, that's what He thinks about it. So listen, if you don't mind, certainly not trying to get anybody riled up. I know that it probably will. Actually, it doesn't matter if you mind or not. I'm going to go with what He says. Because when I am put in a position of being judged, that's the standard that I'm going to be judged by. And that's the side I want to fall on. It to me is a very simple thing. And then we get into yeah, but what about? Well, guess what? Still an abomination. Still laid out specifically in the Bible what God thinks of these things. It's not I wonder what God thinks about this. He tells you exactly what you don't have to wonder. He tells you. Tells you in the Old Testament, tells you in the New Testament. Now, I'm not voicing exactly what it is I'm talking about because this applies to more than one area. This applies to a lot of different areas in our society. You make sure you don't fall on conservative or liberal side, Republican or Democrat side. You make sure you fall on God's side. You're always safe there. Now, people may not like you as a result of it, but hey, I'd a lot rather be on God's side than on man's side. I'd a lot rather be on God's side than to be liked or approved by man.